something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
That's right. Kicking off another brand new day, another brand new hour here on the Steve Gruber Show, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. I'm here every day fighting for you in this country. Who do you want in your foxhole? Got to answer the question, man. Lots of work to do, so let's get right to it. Here are three big things you need to know. Number one, a blue city in California pushing to get a 91-time convicted felon put into rehab facility rather than facing the consequences of killing two more people running them over with his car. Number two, MSNBC is peddling an absolutely false narrative that a judge's house that burned down in South Carolina was somehow the target of political violence. For the record, arson has already been ruled out. It's insane. And number three, another day, another reason to be grateful to the Biden regime, and they didn't get its way in 2024 because it would have continued its draconian overreach of power. The latest case in point, of course, Biden's FBI. At the behest of former special counsel Jack Smith, spied on almost a dozen U.S. senators in 2023, combing through 2020 phone calls. During its investigation into January the 6th, the witch hunt just never seems to end. And you guessed it. Every single one they spied on, Republicans. Senators Mike Kelly, Lindsey Graham, Bill Hagerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Cynthia Lummis, Marsha Blackburn, and Senator Ron Johnson, who I had the pleasure to speak with on this topic yesterday. Here's part of his reaction. Listen.
But again, put this in context of the corruption, in terms of my investigations of James Comey's, his exoneration memo being edited to pull out any kind of criminal element, the whole Russian collusion hoax, what everybody knew, Obama, Brennan, all these people knew that was a hoax, and yet they allowed the Mueller investigation to go through. I mean, the extent to which Obama, Biden, all the merry band of radical leftists that served and supported them, the extent that they interfered in our election, the turmoil, the political turmoil they have put this nation through, that group, and I will say, that group of criminals, Russia and China, in their dreams, they couldn't dream of interfering and creating this much political destruction in America. That's what Obama, Biden, and their merry cast of radical leftists have wrought on this country.
Now, maybe you're not shocked, considering this was the same government that geolocated and arrested people just for being near the Capitol on the 6th of January, that targeted and arrested Catholics for praying outside abortion clinics, that waged lawfare against Donald Trump, General Flynn, Roger Stone, and our very own Steve Bannon. And the list goes on. So the question is, will we see accountability? Some good news for you today. Kash Patel's FBI has already held some of those people accountable. That's right, FBI employees who were responsible for the monitoring fired. And the task force that served as Jack Smith's dirty right hand has been abolished. It's about time. And Patel has initiated an investigation into the baseless monitoring and any other forms of overreach committed by Biden's weaponized institutions. But Johnson says rooting out corruption is going to be a lot harder than you might think. Here he is again.
Well, Steve, here's the problem, though. You still have members of Jack Smith's team in the FBI. These are long-term employees. They're burrowed in. They're not coming clean. They're going to do everything they can to hide their own wrongdoing, as well as the people that they worked with on this. So again, this is a huge challenge for Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino. But no, we're going to be dogged about this. I have every confidence they're going to do everything they can, but they don't know where the documents are buried. Again, it's hard to prove criminal activity.
The January 6th narrative has been twisted and milked for all it's worth by the Democrat Party to justify any kind of transgression that they want to commit. Well, they talk about the weaponization of the Trump administration. It's a joke. Joe Borelli over at CNN exposed that truth before being washed out by the rest of the liberal hacks who want to downplay and not explain what really happened over the last 4 years. Here he is.
Well, I was reliably told that members of Congress were victims in all this. Their lives were in danger. They were at risk of being decapitated and being thrown at the gallows. All of a sudden, that when it's Republican, they're not victims. They're suspects, according to Jack Smith. I think there's been a broader politicization of the FBI. We had an FBI agent plead guilty to to falsifying records so that he can get a wiretap on the Trump campaign back in 2016. That happened. You have this BS raid on Mar-a-Lago where the FBI brought cover sheets of top secret and sprayed them around the floor and took pictures. Where did they end up? Right?
The FBI brought those sheets?
They did bring the sheets. The FBI brought the top secret cover sheets and replaced other documents with those, put them on the floor, then took photographs, and then leaked the photographs. That's what actually happened. This agency has a leaking problem. That's why James Comey's under indictment right now.
The photographs were attached to court documents.
And let out the public. The purpose was that you saw them, you in the media.
Joe, those were court documents, okay? They weren't leaked, A. And B, what did you want them to do? Take pictures of top secret documents and post the top secret documents?
I would expect that we wouldn't do a raid on a former president's house to get documents that weren't even there.
I'm just so tired of hearing the left scream weaponized government over and over every time that the Trump administration holds actual criminals accountable for what they actually did. When it was Democrats who invented the very playbook for weaponized government in the first place. Former FBI Director James Comey is being arraigned today for making false statements to Congress and obstructing justice, both of which he did. He did, after trying to undermine Trump's presidency by pushing false narratives about Russian collusion. He lied to the public. He lied to the president. And holding him accountable is just a start to cleaning house. It's a good start, by the way. Even Trump hater Michael Cohen expects Comey's trial to reveal how the government was weaponized against Trump. Yes, there's going to be a trial. Listen to this.
What you're saying right now is that the Department of Justice under Donald Trump has been weaponized or has not been weaponized?
I think it's been weaponized under more than just Donald Trump. I think it's been weaponized by government for, I don't know, as long as it's been around.
Well, because I think your argument is it was weaponized then by Comey against Donald Trump. That's what you're arguing right now. And so you think that there will be evidence that will show that in court and so thus validate Donald Trump's vendetta against James Comey.
At least I couldn't have said it better.
Of course, he couldn't resist the opportunity to paint Trump as vengeful. Of course, he was on MSNBC after all. But James Comey is going to have a tough time on that witness stand, denying that he knew he was pushing fake Clinton financed intelligence, when he admitted in an interview with George Stephanopoulos that he hid the information from Trump directly. Listen.
Did you tell him that the Steele dossier had been financed by his political opponents?
No. I don't even think I used the term Steele dossier. I just talked about additional material.
But did he have a right to know that?
That had been financed by his political opponents? I don't know the answer to that. It wasn't necessary for my goal, which was to alert him that we had this information.
Yeah, we had this information. Just kind of hit it all, didn't you? James Comey to be arraigned today. What a step forward that is. And what a good step forward that is. Hold people accountable. If you have positions of power, you lie to Congress, you lie to the media, you lie to America, well, there should be consequences for that, and consequences are going to come for James Comey. He's going to be convicted. Mark my words, he is going to be convicted. We're going to take a break now. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to see you on a Wednesday. I'll be right back. All right, jumping back into it. Look, we all know what the goal was for James Comey. It was to cripple President Trump's public image and his effectiveness right from the get-go. Cripple him politically right from the start. Comey was a willing pawn used by Trump's predecessors to subvert the will of the American people who wanted something different from the establishment government in Washington. But the establishment counts on being able to twist the narrative however they want, rewrite history as they see fit, which is exactly what Barack Obama is doing right here as an example. Listen.
As President of the United States, my response was not, who may have influenced this troubled young man to engage in that kind of violence, and now let me go after my political opponents and use that.
Yeah. First of all, Obama did everything he could to inflame race tensions for 8 straight years and beyond. He was the mastermind behind using government institutions against his political opponents, the mastermind. In 2013, he turned the IRS against conservative nonprofit groups. Investigations later confirmed that there was severe mismanagement and bias in the department, targeted only at one side. His Justice Department and intelligence cronies laid the groundwork for the Russia collusion hoax. He unmasked Trump's associates during intelligence operations, trying to undermine Trump before he took office. And if that wasn't enough, he had the privilege of a very friendly media. So even if he didn't need to use the government to go after his opponents, he could use the airwaves, you see. Not only did he weaponize his own government against conservatives, he put in place the people and the processes that continued to do so long after he was gone. Yet this is the line of questioning that Attorney General Pam Bondi had to endure for 5 hours just yesterday. Listen to this.
Gravely concerned about what is no longer a hypothetical question, which you refused to answer in your confirmation hearing, but is a real question about when or if the president demands you prosecute individuals because he views them as opponents or enemies, what you will do and what your limiting standard is, because the recent episode around the indictment of James Comey left me very concerned about the direction of the department.
We're a minute and a half over, Senator Chairman. May I answer?
Yes.
Senator Coons, as you have stated in the past, no one is above the law. Mm-hmm. And James Comey is a pending case right now. It's a pending indictment. He was indicted by one of the most liberal grand juries in the country.
Yep, by one of the most liberal grand juries in the country, by a grand jury, not by Donald Trump, not by his administration, by a grand jury in Northern Virginia. Where are all the Democrats this concerned? Were they? About the FBI that spied on U.S. senators just before they were Republican? That a special counsel was appointed to investigate President Trump? All right. It's not an issue when they do it. Not an issue at all. In fact, it's encouraged. I want to see the mainstream media outlets ask every Democrat politician if they condemn the FBI's surveillance of Republicans as often as they've asked every conservative if they condemn January the 6th. It will never happen. I will not hold my breath here. It is a remarkable time in America. James Comey going to be arraigned today is incredible, and it's important. It's important to hold people accountable for everything that they're involved with. If you're in government and you take that oath of office to defend the nation from those beyond the nation and those within the nation, right now we're seeing an accountability just get started. You see, James Comey is the first domino to fall. James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, a whole host of others are going to answer questions. Christopher Wray will be held accountable as well. They have to be, my friends, they have to be. Because if they're not, we continue the pattern again. If there's a Democrat elected in 2028, let's hope that doesn't happen, but if there is, they will return to their tried and trusted ways of investigating those on the right, calling them Nazis, fascists, white supremacists, Christian nationals, and investigate them, deplatform them, silence them, debank them. All of these cards will be pulled from the deck, all of them, to go after people that are doing their jobs, representing the people here in the United States. And of course, innocent folks too. Look, those nonprofits that were denied access, to the Internal Revenue Service to what they were entitled to. Another example of weaponizing not just against the people in the government, but everybody who doesn't agree with their socialist communist manifesto. And let's be clear about something here. When Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto in 1848, he used words interchangeable. Communist, socialist, they were the same. And the outcome has always been the same, totalitarianism. Something else the Democrats and the left yell about, both on television and in social media. But that tyranny, so clear, all the way back to 2016. All the way back to 2016. Then, of course, in 2020, Hunter Biden's laptop, and so many more examples to give. Remarkable that they can sit there and look you in the face at all. All right, greatly appreciate you being here. We've all heard the studies, testosterone in young men drastically decreasing every decade. One major study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found a healthy 22-year-old man in 2000 had double the testosterone of a 22-year-old man today. It's remarkable. So if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you might want to listen up and pay attention. Meet Mars from the Wellness Company. It's a doctor-formulated nutraceutical designed to restore vitality without synthetic hormones or stimulants. Mars helps men to naturally increase testosterone, enhance circulation, improve strength, focus, and sexual performance. All right? It's all there. It's all there. All the ingredients you need. This isn't about masculinity. It's about health. Low testosterone affects energy, motivation, fertility, muscle mass, mentality, and mood. That's right. And future generations. If you're looking for a boost, Mars will have you feeling like you're on another planet. Go to twc.health/Gruber. Get it today. twc.health/Gruber. Use the promo code Gruber. You'll save 10% today. You want to feel better, be sharper, and frankly have a better weekend? Well, there you go. twc.health/Gruber. You want to have a better weekend, don't you, boys? Yes, you do. The Wellness Company. One of our great partners here at the Steve Gruber Show. I'll be right back. All right, so much to talk about here today that, let me talk about this judge in her house in South Carolina for just one moment. It's outrageous what happened there. It is. In fact, I think I've got a soundbite here. See if I can get Anthony to pull this real quick. What did I do with that? I know it's here. Let me just put it this way. This judge's house burned in South Carolina, right? And it was a horrible fire, a mansion on the water in South Carolina. She is a judge who's been considered to be left of center. Fair enough. So the house burns, and the request about whether it was arson or what might have happened. Now, arson has been ruled out, but over at MSNBC, they didn't care. They didn't care. They went on the air and speculated further about it being political violence. You see, they don't care what the truth is. They want to push this narrative. They want to push this narrative very, very hard that it's right-wing violence when it's not. It was a house fire. A terrible tragedy, but not right-wing violence. We'll have that in the next hour, I promise you that. I realize there are many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all the time, as you know. We all have a cell phone, pretty much. Here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for. That, of course, is Patriot Mobile. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all three of the main networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask the hundreds of thousands of Americans, any of them, who've made the switch and are now supporting causes they believe in simply by joining Patriot Mobile. And switching is easier than ever. That's key. Switching used to be a real pain. You know that, but it's easy. You can activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can get an upgrade if you'd like. Patriot Mobile's all U.S.-based support team standing by to take care of you right now. 972-PATRIOT. Give them a call, 972-PATRIOT, or go to patriotmobile.com/Gruber. When you use that promo code Gruber, you'll get a free month of service. Look, Patriot Mobile, good friends of ours. Their phones are great. Ivy and I have been using Patriot Mobile for, 2 years now? We love it. You will too. patriotmobile.com/Gruber. Get started today. When I come back, more about your good health. Welcome back to the program. It's been about a year. Anybody that pays attention to this program, and a lot of you do, about a year ago I had a fire at a rental house. You heard me talk about it because I didn't know what to do. I get a call one day, Ivy and I do, and it's, hey, your house is on fire. And I look around, I'm like, it is? They said, no, your rental house. So down the road we went. We get there, the fire trucks are there, there's chaos, there's nonsense, electrical fire in the walls. What a disaster. Never been there before. So what do? Well, you pick up the phone, you get a hold of somebody. In this case, PureClean showed up, and boy, have they made it so much easier. Tough days become much better. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the PureClean system. I'm joined by Scott Sandell, who works closely with franchise development, and also we're going to hear from one of PureClean's most successful franchise owners, Keegan Trudgeon, who operates 14 locations. And Scott, I want to start with you. First of all, I want to thank your company. They have made it so seamless and easy and painless. And, you know, look, it's one of the worst days people deal with. They have a flood, they have a fire, they have an earthquake, they have a hurricane, whatever it is. All of a sudden they get a call. You get a call. These people are having the worst day of their lives. I got to thank you, Frank Torrey, the owner of the company, who I've talked to a number of times now. For people that are not familiar with PureClean, what is it?
Thanks, Steve. So PureClean, we are known as the paramedics of property damage. We are a national restoration and remediation franchise system that helps homes and businesses recover from disasters like water, fire and smoke, as you mentioned, mold, and biohazard. And our focus is to help these families and businesses get back on their feet after that disaster strikes.
All right, so look, this is critical work. It has been for me. The insurance company that I worked with, hey, they've been good too. You know, for me, it was a frightening day. You're looking at all these rigs and people are spraying water in your house and you're like, oh, Lord, you know, this is not going to end well. But it hasn't been bad. It's critical work that you do. So give me an idea. What's a day in the life of a person at PureClean look like?
Well, simply, we have really two sides for the franchise. On the production side, the owners put together a production team that will go out into the field when disaster strikes a home or a business, and they work with these folks to help get them back to where they need to when there's water, fire, smoke, mold, whatever it may be. And then the business side, our owners will get out into their local marketplace and they cultivate relationships with key centers of influence and really create a network of referrals through adjusters, agents, realtors, property managers, that type of thing.
Yeah, PureClean, by the way, and I understand this, having worked with your team for a while now, and we're about halfway through the project. And they've done a great job of getting it cleaned out, stripped down, ready to rebuild, all of that. And PureClean's received a lot of real positive recognition lately, right?
Yes, sir. We have. Actually, in 2024, PureClean ranked number 82 on the Entrepreneurs Magazine Franchise 500 list. We also earned the Franchise Business Review Top Franchise Award. And this year, we celebrated 500 locations in North America.
It's a pretty remarkable accomplishment, 500 locations. But really, and there's a reason for that. About any successful business, this one for sure. Relentless customer service. It's about culture, and it's certainly about leadership, isn't it?
Absolutely. Leadership is at the core of who we are, and our focus is franchise first. I think the awesome part is that we are led by two amazing business owners in Frank Torrey and Mark Davis, and their focus has always been franchise first. And they have provided amazing support to our network and our franchise owners.
And those franchise owners include this friend you brought with you. I want you to introduce this guy. He's one of the most successful owners of PureClean franchises in the country. Tell us who we got here.
Yes, absolutely. So Keegan Trudgeon is one of our top owners. He and his business partner, Tim Losey, have been in the network for several years, and they own 14 locations, and they epitomize what it means to represent the brand of PureClean. So I'm happy to introduce Keegan Trudgeon.
And Keegan, I'm glad to have you here. Look, you see it all. Any given day is not the same. It could be a flood, a fire, mold, remediation, whatever it might be. Where did you first get involved and meet PureClean and say, I want to do this?
Thanks, Steve. I come from a corporate background, but I wanted to own my own business, and PureClean allows me to do that with impact to my community and scalability. I found PureClean, and what I was really impressed with was the system and the leadership team. Scott talked to that, but there's a whole leadership team over there supporting us. I started with one location, and when I saw the results, I reinvested in the system and grew my business today. Like you mentioned, my partner, Tim Losey, and I now on 14 locations, and we're still expanding.
So you'd like to have more. I like that. The entrepreneurial spirit, Keegan. Congratulations to you. Now, we just talked about this with Scott. 500 locations. You've got a number of them. What's been the key to success?
It's the system and the leadership. The system gives you a proven playbook. The leadership team, though, that's what makes the difference. Mark Davis, Frank Torrey, as Scott mentioned, Steve White, Scott Sandell, and George Hernandez. He's our direct support. Everyone is focused on helping the franchisees win out there in the marketplace. It's what servant leadership is. It's really refreshing. And at the end of the day, though, Steve, it's about the PuroClean franchisees who help people affected by disasters.
And we talked about this earlier, and I know this of any successful business. The culture, the culture, the culture. You have to be in a group of like-minded men and women who have their eyes on a goal and they're relentless to get there. Is that true? It must be at PuroClean.
Oh, 100%. It's very collaborative. Even though we're independent owners, we share ideas, best practices. The leadership, the system encourages that. And I've been helped by others throughout my career, and now I mentor a few newer franchisees that are coming into the system. It's a community built on support and service.
Yeah, and I understand you're mentoring people because you've been recognized with the MVP award. You're one of the key people in the company now with 14 stores. What did that mean to win that award to you?
Oh, it's really humbling. You know, the award is about growth and leadership, but also giving back to the community and the franchise system. And for me, it's a reflection of how strong the PuroClean brand is, and how it's not me and Tim and some equipment. It's the entire system, our team, our employees, all the support staff at corporate. They help us win these awards.
Keegan, thank you. What a great inspiration. Scott, bring us home. Why would someone consider owning a PuroClean franchise today?
3 reasons. 1, we are recession resilient. 2, the support is second to none. Our executive leadership and certainly our ownership from Mark and Frank. And 3, our owners don't just own a business. They are truly in the business of restoring lives and businesses when disaster strikes.
And I can feel it here with you guys as well. Listen, guys, if you want to know more about PuroClean right now, think maybe you'd like to own a franchise, PuroClean.com. PuroClean.com. Scott, Keegan, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Really appreciate it. Again, PuroClean.com. I'm telling you guys, they made a very difficult, heartbreaking situation really easy. PuroClean.com. Find out more today. I'll take a break and be right back. It's the Steve Gruber Show. All right, here we go back into it. Always concerned about your health here. You've noticed that Ivy and I talk about health all the time in the program because it was so overlooked for so long. The food pyramid's upside down. You've got all these additives, many of which are gone now, by the way, because of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which is very good news. Chemicals in your food, you don't know what's in your water, PFAS and all these other things out there, microplastics. You have to do your level best to stay healthy in this world, in this life. Joining me now, Dr. James Thorpe, Chief of Maternal and Prenatal Medicine at the Wellness Company, joins me now. Doctor, nice to have you back on the program.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Good to see you, my friend. All right, so it's flu season. People say that this time of the year, every year. Many experts predicting it could be a worse flu season than the last couple. What can people do? Look, I'm not taking the flu vaccine, all right? Let me just put that on the table. So if I'm not going to do that, how do I keep myself healthy? Obviously, I wash my hands, but what else can I do?
I think the most important thing is situational awareness. The contagion kit is a kit that we have at the Wellness Company. Definitely have that on board. But it's important. We also have a nasal spray, that you can use. It's very cheap and very effective. You spray it in your nose when you're around large gatherings. You go to church or you go to a football game or you're on an airplane. Do a few sprays a couple times a day. That will prevent the flu and other viral illnesses very effectively.
Right.
Nasal spray and oral lavage.
I didn't realize until COVID. I didn't pay much. I learned, like a lot of other folks, this nasal cavity is where viruses go to make little viruses, right? I mean, that's where it's like the breeding center for virus. If you can take care of that, you can knock all sorts of viruses right back on their heels, can't you?
That's right. Wipes them out. The other very important point is to keep your vitamin D levels up at the very top. And you have to get a blood test to do that. But it's very important because if you have a vitamin D level that's up to 90 or 100, then you're going to be, that also provides a great deal of protection. Very, very important.
Yeah, it's incredibly important. So I'm going to go back to this vaccine for just a moment. The flu vaccine, obviously every pharmacy is pushing it. You see things pop up on social media. Get your flu vaccine now and so on and so forth. Again, I'm not going to do it. But how effective is it, do you think, in your estimation?
It's very ineffective. In fact, there's several studies that suggest that it has an increased risk. I think at about this time, the influenza vaccine is really reserved for uninformed, ignorant people.
Ouch. But that puts it right on the table, doesn't it? If you get the flu vaccine, you're not paying close attention. Look, there are certain things, I think that maybe some childhood vaccines are okay and probably important. But overall, we've gotten dozens and dozens of vaccines. They've gone vaccine wild, haven't they?
Absolutely. It's exploded, and it's incredibly exciting, and it's about time that the Department of Health and Human Services has taken a look at this ridiculous, outrageous vaccine schedule. It needs to be disassembled, and it needs to be given in a more rational, selective manner, if at all.
If at all. All right, so let's switch gears just a little bit. Ivermectin. Been in the news a lot over the last few years, called a lot of things. Look, when I had COVID, everybody knows the story that listens to this program. I was sick, really sick, and getting worse. I called my doctor, said, I want the ivermectin. This is at the end of 2021. She said, no, you don't need that. We argued back and forth. I was pretty hot. A short while later, she called back and said, well, if you really want it, you can go get it, but it's an hour drive, and I did. And I took it midday that day. By that evening, I had changed completely. I was almost symptom-free. It was remarkable. Ivy will testify to it. I went from being really sick to pretty decent shape right quickly. Ivermectin worked for me. I understand there's a new topical application for ivermectin that can actually be used to treat skin disorders. Tell me about that.
Yes, we have a ivermectin cream, and ivermectin cream has been around for quite some time. It's, by the way, it's in a lot of high-end women's facial treatments.
Really?
Typically, it's also in a higher dose, like as in our cream. it will treat the most common skin condition called rosacea that affects the face, and it causes redness. It can be associated with some forms of scabies, and it's very effectively treated, FDA approved by ivermectin cream. It can treat a lot of skin inflammation, redness, perioral redness. These conditions are treated with ivermectin cream effectively, and it's FDA approved, along with many other off-label uses.
And for people that want it, what would you recommend?
Repeat that question.
Well, what would you recommend to people that want the ivermectin cream? What would you recommend?
I would recommend the cream at the Wellness Company. It's a very high quality, 1% ivermectin cream. It's very effective.
There you have it. All right, real quickly, the contagion kit. You mentioned it earlier. What's in it?
Yeah, the contagion kit is very important, especially now as we're entering into this so-called flu season. It's composed of, we have ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, or the Z-Pak, which is an antibiotic. It's got oseltamivir, which is a Tamiflu, which can be used after when you become symptomatic. And then we have a budesonide inhaler, which is really effective in patients that get more flu-like symptoms in their lung.
There you go. All right, twc.health/Gruber. You want to find out more all these great products and the emergency kits, like I have here right next to me every day, are the gold standard. TWC, that's the wellness company, twc.health/Gruber. You can find out more, save money, and be healthy. Look, I'm looking out for you every single day. Doctor, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, twc.health/Gruber. These kits, they are the absolute best. Trust me on this. The gold standard. That's why we partner with the Wellness Company. Great partners support these great people. twc.health/Gruber. Are you Well, here's a bit of an interesting story. Yesterday, the Senate Republicans confirmed 107 Trump nominees. 107. This after Democrats blocked every nomination they could. Every single one. In fact, Marco Rubio was the only one to go through smoothly, the first nomination from the president in his second term. Since that time, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have blocked every nomination, every step of the way. Well, they changed the rules. 107 went through yesterday. People like Herschel Walker, now the ambassador to the Bahamas. Sergio Gore, the ambassador to India. This comes after other Trump friends and colleagues like Kimberly Guilfoyle became the ambassador to Greece. Callista Gingrich became the ambassador to Switzerland. If you continue to play dirty, it seems the Republicans are going to try to find a way to get it done, and they are. And they are. So what do you think is going to happen today with James Comey? What's going to happen? He's going to be arraigned. What do you think? Is he going to be convicted or not? Send me an email. Go to stevegruber.com. Send me an email. Tell me what you think is going to happen to James Comey. Does he get held accountable for all the dirty tricks he played? He's a man without a country. Look, the Democrats hate him because they think he played a dirty trick on Hillary Clinton. The Republicans hate him for all the obvious reasons and the Russia collusion hoax, all of that. James Comey, the world's tallest Boy Scout, facing the music today, I guess is a way to put it, right? He's facing the music, and I'm curious what you think. Go to stevegruber.com, send me a note, tell me what you think. stevegruber.com, send me a note, tell me what you think. I might read it on the air come Friday, Free for All Friday, when I take phone calls from all over the country as well. If you didn't know, I take phone calls every day on this program, Free for All Friday. You can be part of it. Your voice can be heard everywhere that we're heard. Real America's Voice, MTN Network, streaming on all the social media platforms. By the way, would you please do me a favor? Go to those social media platforms and follow. This movement doesn't exist without you. All the social media platforms, go there, hit follow, and let's do this together. This part of the program brought to you by 1775 Coffee. It's what's in my cup every single day, guys. 1775coffee.com/Gruber. You'll find all sorts of promos and good stuff. It is really, trust me on this, really great coffee. And I drink enough of it to know I'm kind of a coffee snob, frankly. I admit it. I love coffee. 1775coffee.com. I'll take a break. 2 more big hours of the Steve Gruber Show still to come. something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome to it as we continue another hour here on the Steve Gruber Show, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom every day. Every day. Who do you want in your foxhole? It's a really important question that you need to answer every day. It might change from time to time, but you need people you can count on when the going gets tough. That's for sure. Here are three big things you need to know. Number one, another revelation that will not surprise you in the least. Joe Biden kept intel information about Ukrainian business dealings and kept it quiet from the public because it was about his family's corruption. Number two, another judge finding out that thinking you can hide behind the bench and illegally protect illegal aliens, well, it's a crime. And now she's off the bench in Boston and could soon be out of a job altogether. And number three, yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about Bari Weiss. She is taking over as the head of CBS News. I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I mean, she's a liberal, I get it, but she was against COVID lockdowns. She was against hiding things. She wanted the information about Hunter's laptop to be published and written about. Then she finally left the New York Times with a scathing exit letter that she made public. So I'm cautiously optimistic that could finally signal a change at the drive-by media, that we are sick and tired of propaganda. We just want news again. Look, Walter Cronkite was a Democrat, so was Mike Wallace. But at least they gave you the news. But somehow that message doesn't get through to everybody. You see, over at MSNBC, they still don't care what's true and what's not. They just want to maintain a narrative. What do I mean by that? Well, MSNBC Nicole Wallace, you know who she is. Crybaby, you know, always freaking out. No matter what Trump does, it's wrong. Doesn't matter what he does, it's wrong. Well, she linked, I talked about this in the last hour. Nicole Wallace linked a house fire that was already ruled it was not an arson, but she said it was some sort of political violence. They let this narrative fly even though they know that arson has been ruled out. Listen to this.
When we come back, what we're learning about the fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina Circuit Court judge who faced criticism from Trump officials after a ruling she made against the Trump administration. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein, after she temporarily blocked the Justice Department from accessing the files of millions of registered voters in South Carolina. Mary McCord is still with us. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
You know, this is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, we're in a very, very dangerous position in this country. And it makes judges fearful. It makes prosecutors fearful, as we know. It makes others in positions where they could be criticized by Donald Trump fearful. And he needs to know the power of his voice and how people respond to that. We've been saying this for years, Nicole, but like if this is what this turns out to be, some sort of politically motivated act of domestic terrorism, then, you know, the importance and significance of the things that Donald Trump says about a person just, again, will be demonstrated in this instance.
If this turns out to be that, which they already knew it was not, they'll peddle the propaganda right to the bitter end. Right to the bitter end. They'll peddle that rotten propaganda. It's not an arson. The judge, who, yes, she had ruled against the Trump administration, had a house fire. A house fire. Not arson, a house fire. Where it came from, I don't know. The investigation's continuing. But the investigation into MSNBC peddling propaganda, that investigation's in and conclusive. They peddle garbage every single day to people that are willingly taking it like baby birds. It's really shameful, and it's too bad, really. NBC used to be an important news operation, not anymore. Meanwhile, talking about propaganda, Bill Nye, the fake science guy, told us to end hurricanes, you have to vote for Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's what he said. But we just had the first hurricane-free September in, what, a decade? More than a decade. No hurricanes in September. In fact, this year's been one of the quietest on record for hurricanes ever. Where are these more intense storms? I mean, we're not out of hurricane season yet. It runs through the end of November. I get that. But what are we out? 6 weeks now? 6 weeks. Yeah. Listen to this from Bill Nye.
In climate science, everybody has been studying this for years. Everybody has been commenting, scientific papers have been written about how warm the ocean is around the Florida Peninsula. And it's this warm water that is driving these storms and enabling it to have to intensify so quickly. Everybody, be careful out there. Let's get through this.
Yeah.
Bill Nye, I thank you so very much, my friend. Really
Let's
appreciate
get
your
through
time.
this. You got to vote for Kamala Harris to end hurricanes. Well, we didn't, and yet the hurricanes are less than they've been in years. You see, it's this narrative that somehow no matter what Republicans do, they're causing the planet to burn up. They're killing homeless people. They hate old people. They hate children, and so on and so forth. Look, Chuck Schumer was offered a clean continuing resolution. Clean. By the way, the Democrats and Republicans got together on 13 of those. 13 during the Biden administration. Never an issue. Republicans always voted for clean CRs. And so when Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, is told you need to negotiate, he goes, negotiate with what? We didn't put anything in there. There's nothing to negotiate with. It's a clean CR. Democrats are making all these demands because Obamacare is failing miserably, which means insurance premiums are going to skyrocket for people by the end of the year. That's not anything to do with the Republicans. That's Barack Obama's Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, which had nothing to do with affordability ever. Never did. It had to do with political power and to pull stunts like this. Oh, those Republicans, they're going to take health care away from millions of Americans. They hate people. They hate you. They want billionaires to get tax breaks. No, Obamacare was unsustainable. Unsustainable. One more thing I want to get to before we get to the break here. You've heard about ICE getting the cold shoulder from the Chicago Police Department. Chicago Police denies it. You see, what ICE is saying, the federal officers are saying, is that we called for help. We were boxed in, 10 cars boxed in, being attacked by agitators, and the Chicago PD stood down. The Chicago PD said we didn't do that. Well, you listen to the 911 center, and you tell me what happened. Listen.
All right, and 999, just to confirm, 39th Police in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Police in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
Okay, 10-4. And again, for all the units that we called to go over that way, 39th Police in Kedzie, if you could just hold off 911, 913, 923, 924, 933, 934. Just disregard that. 39th Place in Kedzie.
Disregard. Those are the orders we're getting. Don't send backup. Those are the orders we're getting. It's pretty black and white, isn't it? The Chicago PD was responding to orders from on high. Do not help federal law enforcement that is in peril. Whatever happens, we don't care. The Chicago PD lied, the mayor lied, the governor lied. This will not stand. The American people have had enough. I've had enough. I'm sure you have as well. We'll take a break and be right back on The Steve Gruber Show. All right, back to it now as we continue the great conversations we have here, trying to bring you the best guests for all the best information. And so my next guest, Doug Blair, is a conservative commentator and the author of the Blair Broadcast. Doug, nice to have you here.
For having me on, Steve. Very much appreciate your time this morning.
Well, great to have you. You're from Portland, right? That's
yes,
my understanding. You are from Portland. And so to hear the left tell it, there's no problem in Portland. Portland's like a dream city, the place where everybody wants to go and live and retire. What's the truth?
Yeah, it's not quite so good as that. Now, I think it's important to put some context here. It's not like Iraq. It's not like, Chirac or Chicago, but it's not in good state. And I wrote about this where one of the problems is that Portland's leadership has let it get this bad. As long as I've been living there, there's been a homelessness crisis, a drug crisis, and that has only kind of gotten worse over the past couple of years. And instead of actually acting and making decisions that will benefit the city leadership has decided that they're going to stick their hands in their fingers, say la la la, raise taxes and say everything's fine. I think this is why President Trump is absolutely correct to say that there does need to be federal intervention, because there are lots of people in the city who don't accept this, who don't tolerate the lawlessness, the crime, the drug use that has been allowed to go rampant, and they're being shouted down by crazed leftists who would prefer to say, I'm a good person for letting a homeless man shoot up in the street than allow Donald Trump to get a win.
Let's talk about things like crime, homelessness, unemployment, drug use you mentioned. Give me a front row seat. Put me in the room.
Yeah, so I think the best example of how bad this has gotten, there used to be a really nice trail, a biking trail. Portland's obviously a big biking city, called the Springwater Corridor. And a few years ago, there was an incident where a 4-year-old girl was almost abducted from the biking trail by a homeless woman that was living in a tent city, legitimately a tent city with thousands of people living in it, that was posted right off of the trail. And instead of taking this seriously, city leadership decided to try and kind of put the kibosh on it. They tried to not talk about it. But until angry residents were so despondent that this lovely trail had been conquered by homeless people, nothing would have changed. And I think that that's where this messaging around Portland is a war zone is coming from, because until it gets brought to light, until federal leadership is willing to say this is unacceptable, they're just willing to let it go. So front row seat to it right now is there's violence in the streets. If you're a political conservative, if you're a political non-leftist, you will get attacked by Antifa. If you're a business that doesn't support these types of things, like you don't put the red mark around your door of BLM or Pride, you will get your windows shattered. It's not acceptable for a major American city to have these standards, and it's not allowable for Americans who just want to go about their day to have to suffer in silence.
Well, what is why is the left enamored with crime and violence and drug use and everything else? It seems to me, we just played a tape here from the dispatch center in Chicago. They're denying that they refused to send police to help the ICE agents that were in peril here a couple of days ago, and yet the tape is very clear. They were told to stand down. Those, as the guy comes back on the radio and says, those are the orders we're getting. And you hear the dispatcher stop sending a whole bunch of cars, calls them off one by one, says, yeah, don't go. I mean, why is the left so enamored with crime that do they hate Trump more than they love their own cities and their own places?
I mean, it's kind of surreal, but yes, I think that you have this sense of Trump derangement syndrome, where people are willing to let their cities burn to the ground in front of them, businesses. And again, I think this is the fascinating part. So Portland during the 2020 riots, a lot of the businesses and a lot of the houses that were impacted were of minorities. They were of Black people. And for people who keep saying, oh, we're all about, minority rights, we're all about Black Lives Matter, the people that are getting impacted by these decisions are the very groups that they're saying that they want to protect. So even when those groups are being disproportionately impacted by this violence, by this crime, they don't care, because they don't want Donald Trump to look good. It's frustrating because I can talk with people, my friends back home, and I can say something like, don't you want clean streets? Don't you want less drug use out in the open? Don't you want less homeless people harassing you on your way to work? And they say, well, yeah, but I just don't want Donald Trump to be the one to do it. I would have rather that Biden had done it. And it's kind of shocking that there's that open about it.
Yeah, but Biden didn't do it. That's the point. The border was wide open. Drugs flowed in. 100,000 Americans died from preventable let me say this, preventable drug overdoses if fentanyl had not been allowed into our country. Now Donald Trump is taking drug-running boats from Venezuela and vaporizing them. And by the way, I believe we're going to be getting a lot more involved in Venezuela to stop the drug cartels. I've also seen in Los Angeles the arrest of numerous leaders of the cartels from Mexico in the last 48 hours. Donald Trump is doing what people want. The number one job of government, in my estimation, Doug, is to protect its citizens. It's a pretty simple equation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's what the founders would have envisioned as well, that for the common good and for the will of the people, government should be established amongst men. And the idea that a government can be so unresponsive to its citizenry and expect to maintain power is completely asinine. I think one of the things that Portland really needs to recognize is that they are American citizens. You can have the mayor of Portland, you can have the governor of Oregon, you can have all these city officials who say, well, it's my personal belief that homeless people should be able to kill themselves in public. But if their citizenry don't want that, then they should expect that the federal government will step in to protect the rights of those citizens that are not being protected. And I am somewhat disappointed in my colleagues on the left, and especially a lot of my friends back home in Portland, who continue to enable this out of a sense of Trump derangement syndrome. It's
just bizarre. Yeah, it's just bizarre. Doug, really appreciate you being here. Doug Blair, you can find him on the Blair broadcast. Doug, thank you for bringing us some insight.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Well, if you got a well in your yard and you live in the northern half of the United States, you're halfway to a geothermal system to save yourself tons of money. Well Connect is an add-on. It doesn't replace your furnace or air conditioning. It's an add-on that could cut your heating costs by half, your air conditioning costs almost completely. It's the fastest, most affordable way to bring geothermal home. You can learn more right now at wellconnectgeo.com. And this is important what I'm about to say. There are subsidies available now through the end of the year that are going to go away because of the big, beautiful bill. If you want a geothermal system in your house right now and you have a well in your yard and you're using propane or heating oil, you want to save a ton of money. wellconnectgeo.com. Made in America, built for your well. wellconnectgeo.com. I'll be right back. Here's a little good news for you this morning as we look at Gavin Newsom losing the argument in California over and over again. How about this one? California's largest high school district has adopted a policy to oppose trans athletes in girls' sports. Thank God. Kern High School enrolls more than 40,000 kids in 31 schools. 40,000 students, 31 schools. In California, they voted 3-2 to adopt Title IX and will only allow women, girls, in girls' sports. Good news. The vote comes as the state's educational agencies face a lawsuit from the Department of Justice for violating Title IX. It's time to end the madness. And when the biggest school district in California says, yeah, we're with the DOJ, we are with Title IX, we are with girls, that's a big win and a big step forward. And Gavin Newsom deserves to lose, right? 1,700 staff in these schools. It becomes the 16th school district, individual school, or Board of Education in California to adopt an amendment to comply with Title IX. Can you even imagine we have to have this conversation? Isn't it remarkable that boys are not allowed in girls' sports? I mean, good Lord. How old are you? How old are you? And I can even ask Anthony this. How many transgender individuals did you go to school with? The answer for me is 0. I never knew anybody who was transgender.
Nah, I didn't know
Any. And you're what? Your mid-20s, right? So
26.
Yeah, you go back 10 years. You go back 8 years with Anthony. There weren't any transgender people. None. 0. What does that tell you? We've been sold a bill of goods. We've been sold a bill of goods. Yeah. There were no transgender people then because, well, it's been manufactured. If you want the very best dog food, American-made dog food, GreatLakesPetFood.com. We've been using it for several years now. Our dogs love it. Real turkey, real chicken. Really good food, made in America, not in China, not some garbage, real pork, real ingredients, and they really love it. We've been using it for years. Heck, Cody lived to be 16 and a half eating GreatLakesPetFood.com. GreatLakesPetFood.com. Ship it right to your doorstep. Not Chinese-made junk that'll hurt your dog. Real American-made dog food. Have it shipped to your house today. GreatLakesPetFood.com. I'll be right back. Well, the Pam Bondi hearing was exciting, to say the least, yesterday. Up there for, 5 hours, battling people, back and forth. Even had to call out one of those Democrat senators for having never served in Vietnam, though claiming so many times. These people have no shame. Joining me now is Reverend Jim Harden, a dedicated pro-life advocate, leader of Compass Care. Reverend, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be with you, Steve.
I appreciate you taking the time. So these hearings, is there any point in having these hearings anymore for the most part? I mean, sometimes you might get an important question in, but mostly it's just a bunch of windbags trying to get clicks on social media, giving speeches, hoping that they get the right little 15-second clip that can make themselves look good and raise money. I mean, it's sad, really, isn't it?
It is sad. I mean, it's all about political theater. You're right. They're just trying to get points. They're trying to get the soundbite jab, on the one person who's trying to do what they don't want her to do, and that is bring justice back to America. We have essentially destroyed the rule of law in America with DEI hiring policies in places like the DOJ and the FBI for years. Under the Obama administration, the Biden administration, we've got such deep-seated corruption that I was the one probably 3 years ago that first said we need to defund, at least suspend funding for the FBI. And Joe Biden made fun of me when I said that. Why? Because the DOJ and the FBI were specifically being used to be weaponizing not just the staff, but the entire legal system against the politically disfavored conservatives, including pro-life people. We saw this happening with us. We got attacked, literally firebombed by pro-abortion Antifa domestic terrorists, and the DOJ turned a blind eye, and Joe Biden himself signed an executive order a month later to initiate the Reproductive Health Task Force to investigate the, quote, fraudulent practices of pro-life pregnancy centers. That was us. I mean, so now we have whistleblowers coming out of the FBI saying, why are you taking us off of sex crime investigations to look into these pregnancy centers that are providing free medical care to women? It doesn't make any sense. This was Garrett O'Boyle coming out of the FBI. Yeah. So, Pam Bondi is trying to fight two battles. One of them is against evil and injustice out there in the real world, and the other one is fighting it in her own operation. She's got, I think, look, Donald Trump is doing a great job trying to put his war cabinet to work, so to speak, routing out all this corruption. But it's going to take a lot more than one presidential term, which means we're going to have, look, elections have consequences. We're going to have multiple, administrations taking responsibility for the DOJ and making sure that the DOJ and all other federal agencies, by the way, are not riddled with these corrupt bad actors. And I think it's all the way down the rank and file. These people are accustomed to using their time, their federal taxpayer dollars and their salary to attack peaceful pro-life people and other conservatives.
Do you feel that we're on the right track now? Jim Comey, the world's tallest Boy Scout, ask him. He'll tell you how wonderful he is. He's going to be arraigned today. He will, man. He'll tell you right there. I am the greatest person ever, Reverend. He'll tell you I'm pure as the driven snow. Jim Comey, world's tallest Boy Scout, going to be arraigned today on serious charges, indicted not by Donald Trump, indicted by a grand jury in liberal Northern Virginia, which is all Democrats for the most part. And yet people, Trump's weaponizing, the Department of Justice. No, it's a grand jury. I mean, people are just immune to facts too often anymore, aren't they?
Oh, the facts are so stubborn. That's the problem with liberals. Look, James Comey being indicted by a grand jury of liberals. It's just they can't believe it. It's just how could justice come to them? Justice is not what they decide. Justice is based on the rule of law. And when you use the rule of law to undermine the rule of law, we shouldn't countenance that. There's no reason why we have to allow people to engage the justice system specifically as a weapon against those they disagree with. And so I think we'll see what happens. But I think we need several more years of this attempts to rectify or right the ship and bring civil order back.
Well, that's right.
Justice.
I mean, a great example came in the last couple of days when we learned that the FBI under Joe Biden was investigating Republican senators, for example. And in order to get to those places, you have to dig deeper. You have to have more time, more people to go through, because there are so many layers, right? These people insulated themselves behind layers and layers and layers of this corruption and this deceit. So you're right. Many more years to get to where we need to be to see what's at the bottom of the barrel and how slimy that is, right?
Right. You know, this isn't new either. I mean, there are certain states that have what's called SLAP laws. Uh, the SLAP is a acronym for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. It's illegal for people to simply, file a lawsuit, say, against someone they simply disagree with, to essentially to rob them of their constitutional rights or freedom of speech or whatever. We have another law at the federal level, U.S. Code 42, Section 1983, also known as the Third KKK Act of 1871, which bars or makes it illegal for public officials to use their position to conspire to deprive a person or a group of people of their constitutional rights. That's happening all the time in America now. And what are we going to do? We have to take a stand. We have to bring the battle to the corruption. Otherwise, we're going to lose our country.
We have to. We have to stand up. We look, holding people accountable is incredibly important while still protecting the Constitution. I say that, like, I'll take Jimmy Kimmel, for example. I think Jimmy Kimmel should have been taken off the air by the network, which he was. But I don't think that the FCC should weigh in on it. I don't think it's their place. Let the marketplace sort out free speech. Let those folks decide who's going to be on the air. I don't want to silence anybody. As idiotic as I think Jimmy Kimmel is on a daily basis, let him speak. That way I can see how idiotic he actually is and want to be no part of it. This is important. I don't want the government involved oftentimes. I want the people to push back on these culture wars. What do you say to that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, let the CNNs of the world and the Jimmy Kimmels of the world, have their day, because ultimately reason is going to win out. The people are going to say this is ridiculous. It's one of the reasons why, for example, CNN has such a low following. People think, well, CNN. Well, no one really is interested in the CNN. Same thing with NPR. The only reason NPR is still alive is because the federal government, under the direction of the Democrats, were feeding them millions and millions of dollars, propping them up. Same thing with for example, Planned Parenthood. This is my bailiwick.
Right.
Abortion is not a healthy business model. They cannot survive without $750 million in taxpayer funding every year.
Yeah.
It says something, right? It says that the world, the nation, the people of America are not choosing that. The government is choosing that for us, and we don't want that anymore.
We don't want that anymore. Reverend, I really appreciate you being here. Good conversation. Common sense. I believe that this country is still a center-right country. I do. People I talk to, even Democrats I talk to, don't buy into a lot of this nonsense like women getting invaded in their sports and locker rooms by men. They don't want any of that. Reverend, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a break. Again, follow me on all those social media platforms. X, Facebook, Truth, all of them. YouTube. God bless you guys on YouTube every day. Nice to see you this morning. Nice to see you on Getter. Nice to see you in all these places. Support this program, spread the good news, and we'll be right back. All right, back to it now. As in order to change this country, we have to change the minds of some younger people, right? We have to change the minds of some. That's what Turning Point USA was all about. Can you believe it's been a month? A month today since Charlie Kirk was murdered in public, and millions of people saw it happen around the world, right? That's where we are with it. Hard to believe that, but the Charlie effect is still real, very real. What would you think about Brandon Lake? He was one of the great performers there during Charlie Kirk's memorial in Phoenix that I was so honored to be part of. How would you feel about him doing the alternative halftime show for the Super Bowl? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? It would be a remarkable thing, I think. You have to turn around not just the young people, though. I had this idea of a TPUSA Silver, if you will. TPUSA Silver. That would mean Turning Point USA for people over 50, like me, maybe you. Mike Speranza is a 33-year-old small business owner, Buffalo, New York. He owns a couple of insurance agencies. He's got 7 employees, taking over a financial planning company from his father as well. Pretty good start on life at 33. He's joining me now to talk about where we go from here. Mike, thank you for being on the program.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I understand you also have a podcast. You do a lot. 33 years old. You've accomplished a lot in your short 33 years on the planet. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, a lot of hard work, just like a lot of people out there. But you got to keep pushing forward and kind of keep making the best of things. And I like it. It keeps me busy. It keeps me happy, and I would never complain about what I'm doing.
How are things in Buffalo? Give us an update from the front line there. Put us in the room there in Buffalo. What are things like?
Well, there's issues all across New York State. Buffalo,
Sure.
The city of Buffalo has their issues. What scares me more than anything, though, is what's going on in New York City, because we may, and I say we, not me personally, but New York City may elect as he calls himself, a Democrat socialist for mayor down there. It looks very likely at this point in New York that he will be the mayor, and that will all spill towards Buffalo. It always does. Kathy Hochul, actually, the governor of New York, Steve, is from Buffalo. She was a much different person years ago, and then she got into the Democrat cycle, and she's changed a lot. She was endorsed by the NRA years ago, believe it or not.
I find that hard to believe, but okay, I'll take that your word on that one.
Yeah.
Look, Ma'am Danny is he calls himself a democratic socialist, but what he is a communist. And look, Karl Marx interchanged the word communist and socialist in the Communist Manifesto. It's the same thing. It might be a matter of degree, but it's the same thing. And the things that this guy's proposing, disbanding the best police unit in the NYPD, getting rid of getting rid of classes in schools that would reward gifted students, all of these things. I mean, it's the relentless pursuit of mediocrity is the way I see it. Your thoughts?
I mean, Steve, one of the craziest ones to me is the city-owned grocery stores.
Oh, good
I mean, where have we seen these things work? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
And we're going to try them again in New York because we can do it better, as we always say on our radio show. Like these Democrats and these Democrat socialists, socialism's never worked, but we can do it better. Just trust us. And that's the model. And it's not going to work. Again, to your point, he wants to decriminalize crimes across, New York State as well, in New York City. This stuff isn't working. If you look what happened during the Biden administration, we just saw last week, the story came out, sadly, that young girl that was killed. The gentleman had 25 felonies and 39 prior arrests. This soft on crime approach isn't working across America. It's certainly not going to work in New York City, Steve. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah, I know
they
that.
They had crack pipe vending machines in New York at one point a year or two ago that were getting looted and robbed, and those lasted about 2 weeks. Like these policies are just terrible. They don't work, and it's sad.
Of course they don't work. Here's one that'll fit right up that alley, by the way. A 91-time felon trying to dodge prison and go into rehab. This happened in California. Troy McAllister was drunk when he ran a red light. Killed Elizabeth Platt. She was 60. Hanako Abe, he was 27. Killed them both on impact. And they're trying to get him into a diversion program. 91 felonies. I mean, the insanity has no bounds.
It's hard to believe that judges can do this and do this with with logic. I after 2 or 3 felonies, Steve, I think I'd be like, all right, Either this guy has to go to a mental institution or he needs to be imprisoned for a while, right? I mean,
Forever.
you can't commit 3, 5, 8, 10 felonies and say this person can be rehabilitated. It just can't at that point. I hate to say it, but it's impossible. If you keep committing felony, and some of these felonies from these guys, by the way, and gals, are not like, oh, they took jewelry from their mother. It's like, hey, they assaulted somebody, they raped somebody, they attempted murder, violent assault. Like, these are things that you're just not coming back from and being rehabilitated from. And these judges, in my opinion, Stephen, I don't know how you feel about this, but these judges need to come up on, they need to be tried or something.
Something has to happen. They got to be thrown out of office. Let me put it this way. A number of years ago, I called Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I said, do you have a stand against illegal aliens that get caught drunk driving? Crickets. Mothers Against Drunk Driving won't even speak out. This is how dumb things are against drunk drivers. If you get a DUI, you're never allowed in the nation of Canada. Never. One DUI, banned for life. Here, you get rehab, you get a place to stay, you get some pats on the back. Oh, your life's been tough. We're so sorry. Give me a break. Last word to you.
Yeah, we need some change. And I'm a big advocate of the Trump administration, but some of these things we got to keep hammering on. We got to keep getting done because change is needed. We cannot let these criminals run the streets. We cannot let Democrat socialists like Mamdani win elections. This is dangerous for America. It's dangerous for my state, Steve. I'm worried about New York.
Yeah,
and
you should
it
be.
Can't happen anymore.
It absolutely cannot. Mike, really appreciate you being here. You come back anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I look forward to it.
There you have it. Mike Sparazzo, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. We'll take a quick break. Up after the break, we're going to have sports. The Tigers had like a 27-week rain delay last night, and after that, it was all wet. Just soggy and lousy. We'll be back with Brock after this. All right, time to check in on sports now with Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. In the Major League Baseball playoffs last night, Aaron Judge hit a 3-run homer off the foul pole in the fourth inning to tie the game, and the New York Yankees rallied from a 6-1 deficit to defeat the Toronto Blue Jays 9-6 in Game 3 of the American League Division Series in Yankee Stadium. Yankees stay alive in the series, still down at 2-1 in the best of 5. Game 4 tonight in the Bronx. The Seattle Mariners are 1 win away from the American League Championship Series as they knocked off the Detroit Tigers 8-4 in Motown last night. Eugenio Suarez, J.P. Crawford, and Cal Raleigh homered for the M's, who lead the best of 5 series 2-1. Game 4 of the series this afternoon in Detroit. And the National Hockey League's regular season began last night with 3 games. The Florida Panthers raised their Stanley Cup banner before besting Chicago 3-2. Pittsburgh shut out the New York Rangers 3-0, and Colorado beat Los Angeles 4-1. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Brock, the Tigers are back in action today. What time did you say?
First pitch is 3:08 at Comerica Park.
All right, and no weather to screw things up today, right?
No. It's going to be really nice, but it's going to be fall weather. It's going to be cooler, which is okay. It's October.
Yeah, it is all right. It is October. It's where you want it. We'll see. Obviously, it's an elimination game, right?
It is, yes. Win, and you stay alive for Game 5 coming up on Friday. But if you do win today, Tarek Skubal throws on Friday for you.
So if it's close today, here's the question. If it's really close in the ninth, would they put Skubal in to throw to try to win the game?
No, I don't think so.
Not
I don't
possible.
think they would. They've got Kyle Finnegan and Will Vest at the back end of the bullpen, so I don't think so.
All right, well. There you have it. It's the gospel according to Brock Palmbush.
Oh,
all right?
No, don't say that.
What? What'd I say? What'd I say? We love Brock. Brock is my hero. What? Anyhow, thank you, Brock. Greatly appreciate you.
You're welcome, sir.
There you have it. Brock Palmbush,
Steve
everybody.
loves Brock.
I do. You, on the other hand.
Oh.
Better watch your mouth. All right. Best team in broadcast today. I got them, folks. I got the best team in broadcast. Absolutely true. We'll take a break and be back with the next big hour of the Steve Gruber Show. You sit right there. look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Yeah, it sure is. Glad to have you on board. Another brand new hour here on the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to talk to you about all the important issues of the day. And make sure you got somebody in your foxhole. This is the foxhole of freedom. We're fighting for you every single day. All right, three big things this hour. EHD is number one. Epizootic hemorrhagic disease. EHD. It's killing thousands of deer in southern Michigan right now. Do you have that problem where you are? I'd sure like to know about it. Number two. Turning point. The movement's growing fast in Michigan since the murder of Charlie Kirk 1 month ago today. 1 month, believe it or not. And number three. Pushing back against all this leftist nonsense. Happens every day here on this program. Here's a guy. I found this video. Here's a guy, I guess he'd be a DACA recipient. Born here or was brought here when he was very young. Now says he's moving to Mexico rather than to live in America. And I say, okay. All right. Listen to this.
Well, I've made up my mind. I will be turning in my DACA and returning to Mexico. We came to America January 15th, 1996, so almost 30 years. I was a baby, so I have no memories of Mexico, but I think it's time for me to go back. Now, there is a lot of fears and wonderings and what ifs, but I do not want to be captive to this country anymore. I am a homeowner, I'm a teacher, and I'm currently in my master's program. So this is going to take several months to deconstruct 30 years of building a life here. So I graduated in May, and as a teacher, we work through May. So by June of 2026, I should be back in Mexico. So again, it's going to be a long process. It's going to take some time, but I have already started working towards that big change. And I'm not doing it out of fear or worry. I am choosing to be with family. I am choosing to be free. I am choosing to travel. And I am choosing to give the good that I have to the country where I come from.
Captive to the United States. Do you feel captive here, Anthony? I mean, it's a serious question.
No.
No.
I'd probably feel like I'd probably be an actual captive in Mexico.
Well, that's potential, you know. Cute guy like you, yeah, they'll just snag you.
$50 he doesn't go to Mexico.
Yeah, that's what I thought. No way he goes. I think he's doing it for clicks. I think it's nonsense. I think he stays here. I've been to Mexico, all over Mexico. And when you leave the Americanized areas, which are the resorts, right? The big resorts that everybody goes to, those are not Mexico. Those are protected resorts with police enforcement and protection because they want to protect all that money coming in. But if you go to places like the Yucatan Peninsula, where I've been, and you get out beyond into the countryside, if you will, I mean, it's abject poverty. I've never seen poverty like I've seen in Mexico, in the United States, ever, anywhere. It's true. You find poverty in South Africa, where I've been. Poverty there is so much different. I mean, poverty here comes with cell phones, food stamps, SNAP, I guess they call it, other government assistance. In Mexico, they literally lived in, well, some of the houses were made of cardboard and tin, if you want to call it a house. The shelter, I suppose, would be a better term. Cardboard and tin, and they have real poverty. If that's where you want to go back to, my friend, well then, let us know and send us a postcard. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris was on the campus of Howard University yesterday, and I want you to listen to this, and Anthony, I'll get you to weigh in at the end as well. Is she sober? Is she sober? Listen to this.
I am so proud of all of you. You know how privileged I feel to have been educated at Howard University. There is so much about everything I have achieved, and I've been the first to do many things because of being here when I was your age, knowing that everything that I'm being told and can feel tells us we can be and do anything, that we expect you to be leaders locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally. And especially at this period in time, I want that you all know our country and our world needs you all. We need you. So you be strong, you feed these big brains of yours. You make friends who are going to be, by the way, friends of yours for life. And enjoy this. And know how special you are and how much we need you. That's what I want for you. That's what I need from you.
All right, enough. Anthony, you watched the clip, right? Because Anthony puts I picked the clips, he puts them together. That's kind of the way this.
Yeah.
She didn't seem sober to me. Am I wrong?
I think she was in the wine.
I think she was in the wine, too.
I think she usually is.
Yeah, which brings me to the next point. Donald Trump yesterday in the Oval Office said, look, there is no leader of the Democrat Party. It's certainly not her, right? Certainly not her. I don't know who the leader of the Democrat Party is. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker. Who is it? Or, here's his comment. Listen.
Who to speak to. I'll tell you what, I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leader. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? You know? And I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. She's from Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her.
I said, no.
You know who I'm talking about?
No, we don't want that. Anyhow, the Democrats don't have a leader today. It's a problem for the party. There is no person they can look to and say, hey, where are we going from here? How do we get out of the wilderness? They truly are in the wilderness in many ways. And coming out of the wilderness, I'm going to go back to this Turning Point story I saw here in Michigan. The movement is gaining traction. This is from MichiganNewsSource.com. One of Michigan's representatives, Parker Fairbairn, on this program often. He came and had a turning point at a recent campaign event when a college question served as a catalyst for action. He's from Harbor Springs. And, of course, Turning Point is the brainchild of Charlie Kirk, who was murdered a month ago today. He was at Lake State University, empowering students to think critically, embrace freedom, to have the courage to speak up for what they believe in. That's what it is. A chance to speak up and say, this is what I believe is good for this country going forward. And it is so critically important. Critically important is also your health. If you want to lose weight, if you want to figure out why you haven't been able to do that, check your metabolism and not get on drugs, not take injections, but do it the old-fashioned way. Learn about your body, understand how it works. My Pure Health, man, we've been with those folks since 2018. What a great organization that really cares about you. And they don't want you on drugs for the rest of your life. They don't want you getting injections. They want you to lose weight, figure out your body using real food and real results. That's what it's about. You can find out more at GruberHealth.com. If you've been wondering about how to lose weight and you don't want to do a GLP-1, I don't blame you. I get it. Go to GruberHealth.com. Learn more today. Men lose as much as 50 pounds in 40 days. Women, 30 pounds. It's remarkable. It really is. Find out more at GruberHealth.com. Back to it as we dig into the conversation deeper. We're going to go a little bit farther out in the woods, and I mean really out in the woods. I mean, we're going to get lost, boys and girls. We're going to go out there and sleep among the trees or something like that. Do we need a sleeping bag? Not necessarily. You just get lost, you wander. He's the wanderer. He is, my friends, Ron Rademacher. There he is, the most successful person at getting lost in Michigan in history. Ron, how are you?
I'm out there and still pushing the envelope on that, Steve. We're going to get lost some more. You know, weather update, quick weather update.
All right.
Just got this from Long Haul Vanderbilt out of the Kalkaska area. It's finally cool enough to hang deer to cure. So, you know, this is a big moment in the climate every year that when temperatures finally go down. By the way, it's 6 degrees cooler in Kalkaska today than it was 1 year ago today. So climate change is on the retreat, and he will be out there curing deer. So love that venison, man.
Yeah, love that venison. You got it. So where are you going right now? Well, I mean, the colors are in full peak, right? Or full steam ahead to getting to peak. Where are we with that?
Well, colors, you know, are changing daily. Right now, if you've never done it, this is the next 10 days, October 6th to 19th, where you can go up on the top of the Copper Peak ski jump. Just Google Copper Peak color, Michigan, and you will see this thing is 200 and some feet up there, and you take your elevator up, and you can see for 150, 200 miles. Just fantastic. So this is the time of year to do that. And it's changing every day. I just got a report from Grand Marais that the colors along H58, which is the 50 miles of heaven that goes from Grand Marais to Pictured Rocks, is stunning color right now. So that's going on.
Well, that's good news, right?
Yeah,
That's
Drummond
good news.
Island is having their fall festival this weekend, too. And that's another place that's overlooked for color. You drive out along through the Leschenault Islands and then take the ferry over to Drummond Island, and the whole thing is hardwood. So that's not quite as far as going to Copper Peak. So that's another great spot for color this weekend.
All right. Good stuff. Lower Peninsula, what, 2 weeks out?
Yeah, Lower Peninsula is about 2 weeks out. We'll be doing we'll be sending out an audio package to Michigan News Source later this week for 4 different river trails in northern Michigan, so you can take some short paddle trips to see the color. That is, you know, you're not going to be able to see it from some of the roads. And then southern Michigan will be a little bit later. By the way, up in the Upper Peninsula, if you're not everybody's after color, but you know, in Escanaba this weekend, the DNR is holding their outdoor woman training event. I didn't know, maybe Ivy's doing a presentation there. You can learn spin rod fishing, archery, or sport and hunting, firearm safety, and all important Dutch oven and outdoor cooking techniques. So that is restricted to the ladies. I guess they want them in the kitchen, whether they're outdoors or indoors. I didn't say that.
Well, there you go. The Dutch oven. That was something different when I was a kid. But go ahead. You know.
And speaking of that, hey, listen, there's 2 great things going on in Cadillac. One is there's a trapping clinic at Michigan, at Mitchell State Park. So that's one of the state parks that has all these great mushroom clinics and outdoor safety clinics. Now this weekend they got trapping, but this is also the 50th anniversary, Steve, of the visit that KISS, the band, made to the Cadillac High School that shocked everybody, and it launched KISS's, it went viral. They didn't have viral in those days, but a Canadian news source picked it up. It went viral, and it launched KISS's, their career, and they became obviously one of the great all-time. So that's going on this weekend. KISS in Cadillac.
KISS in Cadillac. Isn't there a monument up there to that of some sort?
There is. There is. You can find a picture of it on MichiganBackroads.com. And it is out by the high school, right near the football field where this legendary concert took place. You know, when they hooked up to the sound system there, their power was so great that it blew out the entire power system there at the football game at halftime. So while they were repairing that, Ace Frehley and the boys brought their 18-wheelers in. They had their own amp systems, and the show went on.
Of course it did.
A lot of great stories out of that.
Yeah.
Now, here's something that appeal to you a little bit more, if I may.
All right.
Frankfurt. Frankfurt is having their fall festival out of the open space park. And this is the one, Steve, where they have this gigantic crane and they lift up a gigantic pumpkin and they drop it on a car. You know, it's a high point for all juvenile delinquents across the state.
Of course. Of course it is.
And there is a beer tent there as well. So you got everything you could possibly want.
Get drunk and smash cars.
There it is. We're not going to get drunk down here. I'm going to be at Barkham Creek Farm.
Love Bob, by the way. By the way, shout out to Bob Barkham, Hazlitt, Michigan, I think is the official address. Great place. Cider, donuts, pumpkin, squash. It is a fall frenzy with Bob. I loved him. So anybody in the greater Lansing area or even farther, get on your horse or your donkey or whatever it is you ride and head over and see Bob Barkham, all right? A great guy.
Yeah, I will be there. Bob the Turtle will be there. It is a great day. I was there last year in October, and it looks like the weather is going to be perfect. Nice and crisp and clear. They've got tons of pumpkins, and they're making that cider and those donuts on the spot.
And by the way, I got some apples there last weekend. The apples, I can't tell you the variety. They're absolutely snow white when you bite into them. They're fabulous. You got to try one of those snow white apples inside, not on the outside. And we got the best mums there as well. Mums were fabulous. So again, shout out to Bob Barkham.
Yeah, they do everything right.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and you're going to be there Saturday. I'm pretty excited.
Yep, about 11 to 4.
All right.
Picking up some dust, having some fun. If I wasn't there, I'd be going to Manistee to the Ghost Ship. You know, if you've ever done that thing, the SS City in Milwaukee, that's a great show they put on too. And that's an old Lake Michigan railroad car fair.
There you go.
Turn it museum. And you can stay in that. That's also a bed and breakfast. There's another cool.
See, you don't have to sleep out in the woods. See, you got your own solution. All right, MichiganBackroads.com. If you got an event that you want to promote here on the program, get a hold of MichiganBackroads.com. And that guy, Ron Rademacher. Ron, thank you.
Thank you. I'll be watching for the smoke signals just in case I'm in the woods.
All right, we've been talking about this for the last for a while now, but gold broke through the $4,000 barrier yesterday for the first time ever. Gold is on a tear, to say the least. This year, so far, gold is up 52%. Silver, by the way, up 56%. Silver is at almost $50 now, 48.90. So if you own gold and silver today, congratulations to you. Some of my friends selling gold right now, they said you can buy so much and get into other things because of the gold. I don't have much, just a little tiny bit. I'm glad that it's worth more. Wouldn't really protect me in a jam, but it's gone from $3,650 to $4,000 in 30 days. It's up $350 an ounce in 30 days. All right, so that's where you are. Gold continues to accelerate. Where's it going to stop? I don't know. The stock market is doing well. Bitcoin is at 120 something, so it's doing well as well. The stock market closed at 46.6 yesterday for the Dow. The Nasdaq and S&Ps both off a little bit, but they're all playing around in record territory day after day. Where does this all lead? I don't know. It's a weak dollar, and the weak dollar can be Well, that's why gold is going so high. The dollar's weak. If the dollar gets stronger, gold will come back down. I don't see that happening right at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that. And you know, look, if you've got gold, congratulations to you. If you got a bunch of it, really, congratulations to you, because you are doing exceptionally well over the last few days and weeks. For the best water in Michigan, it's Wolverine water. 75 years of the best water in Michigan. It is American-made products. It's your friends and neighbors giving you the best water. Reverse osmosis systems, the blue line system. If you've got, like, you know, hard water stains in your shower or in your toilet, Wolverine water is your answer. If your water doesn't smell right, Wolverine water is your answer. My good friend Paul Mahaney over there running Wolverine water for years now. It's been around for 75 years in all. So check it out, WolverineWaterSystems.com. WolverineWaterSystems.com. The best there is when it comes to water in Michigan is WolverineWaterSystems.com. I'll take a break and be right back. All right, it's Old Home Week here at the program. Of course it is. My next guest used to be my partner in crime on the local news. Kathy Schmaltz is here with me, state representative now. She's done a lot with her life. While I've sat here and talked to cameras and microphones, she went and did important things. Kathy, welcome back to the program.
Oh, good morning, Steve. Oh, you're important. Come on.
Not as important as you. You're delivering, results for the people. And in fact, you're delivering record results for funding for local schools, I understand. Do tell.
Yes, well, first of all, I'm glad the budget got done.
Yeah.
We did send the school budget to the Senate in June, hoping to get it done by July. Of course, that didn't happen, but we're very happy it's done. I think it's a good budget for our schools and our students. Record funding. We went from 9,608 to 10,050 per pupil, which is really good. As you remember, last year they had no per pupil increase, so our districts are really in a tough bind there. And we also put in $321 million in safety and mental health. Last year they had cut that and only put back not even half of that. So we're very happy that we got that done. Universal meals are back. Of course, we never cut those because federal government obviously takes care of our needy kids. And what we were going to do is give this districts a bunch of money and have them decide if they wanted to give meals to everybody. So those are never cut, but those are back, fully funded. Categories are there, and it's a good budget.
All right, so you cut, I don't know, what, $2 or $3 billion out of the budget. Look, a lot of us would like to have seen a bit more, but at least we're coming back a little bit from where we were. Because, look, COVID spending went up everywhere. And it wasn't really used for COVID, a lot of it. We know that. It was used for things that maybe some of us would have an issue with. But we are at least coming back in the right direction for the first time, maybe ever. That's good news, right?
No, that's true. I mean, our priorities as House Republicans was accountability, transparency, and making sure we cut the waste out of government. And of course, we talk a lot about the phantom jobs. We cut 2,000 of those. Those were jobs that were never filled, but the departments got the money for and used the money for who knows what. So that was really good that we got that cut, of course. So we didn't want to increase any taxes. So important to us to get no taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security, which we did. We were adamant no gas taxes were going to be raised. So it is a good budget. We've got a lot of our priorities in there as House Republicans, but of course we wanted to cut a lot more.
Well, that'd be nice. I mean, again, because I ask you and all your colleagues, how is it that we sit here with a budget of, what is it, $81 billion this time? It's still $30 billion higher than the state of Pennsylvania, which to me, I just sit here and go, how is that possible? Pennsylvania's roads are better. It seems that they've got better things happening in their state. They're more job friendly. Of course, that's not very difficult these days in Michigan to be more job friendly than we are. So $30 billion more still, it's a step in the right direction, but I still think we're a long way off the mark. Your thoughts?
Well, we sure are, but remember, we have divided government. So we as Republicans control the House, the Democrats control the Senate. We had to come to some agreement here to get the budget done in time. So, of course, we had to, we only ended up with $2 billion for roads and fixing, and we wanted $3.4 billion for that. So, of course, and we wanted to cut a lot more. Like I said, there's a lot of waste still there. But, when you have divided government, you have to come to an agreement to get the budget done.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, all right. So what are some of the things you'd like to see as we go forward? Were there things that were missed in the budget that you would like to have seen? Were there things that were put in there that you'd like to see scaled back in the future? I mean, education, okay, we'll give you the nod for that. But where else would you like to see action in the budget the next time we do this?
Well, obviously, cutting more waste and making sure, it's so important to make sure that the money is going to the right place and used for the right things. I mean, this is taxpayers' money. It should be going to help our people, making life more affordable, public safety. That's just where everything should go. And education. I mean, what are we now? 44th in the nation in education? How does that even happen? So we need to do a lot more with literacy. And I have a dyslexia bill in there to help our dyslexic kids learn to read, which is 1 in 5 right now. That's how many dyslexics are here. So those are some of the issues that we want to work on, help our foster kids more. I have a foster care bill in there to do that. There's just a lot of different areas that we need to work on.
One of the things that I see people, you're obviously in Jackson. A lot of people that hunt and fish in Jackson, hunting specifically, the DNR, there have been proposals to raise hunting and fishing licenses in the state. Not well received by those people that actually hunt and fish. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, not going to happen. Just not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. We don't need to put more hardships on people in that way, and it's just not going to happen.
And here's something else. The conservation officers in Michigan are the number one first responders in the state. Is that really their function? That's a serious question because a lot of people are saying the first person on the scene, the first responders are often these COs that are, look, they're understaffed. There could be more budget for the DNR. I don't think raising fees is the way to get there, but are they being used properly, Kathy? Is that a fair question?
Well, that's up for debate too. Some people don't think so. They don't think it's their job, like you said, but that's something we should probably take a look at.
Fair enough. All right, so to wrap it up, you're happy with the budget, universal lunch program. Kids are going. This is important. Look, the kids are going to eat. In fact, they found workarounds at the federal level as well. None of these kids are going to be. If you listen to the folks on the other side of the aisle, oh, the kids are going to starve. It's going to be not happening. Donald Trump's not letting it happen. The state of Michigan's not letting it happen. The kids that need to be fed are going to be fed. That's correct,
So a big
right?
problem there. Yeah, the Department of Agriculture federally supplies our needy kids with the meals. Parents aren't filling out the forms. They're not filling out the forms so that their kids can get the free meals. That's really important too. So parents have to fill out the forms. But now, as we said in the budget, all meals will be there for everybody.
Right, and that's great news. All right, Kathy, I'll give you the last word on anything you want about the budget or where we go from here.
Well, we hope to just do even better next year on this. We got a lot of our priorities through as House Republicans, thanks to our Speaker Matt Hall and Appropriations Chair Ann Bolin, and all our appropriations chairs did a great job with this. They worked really hard to find out where we can cut, and hopefully we'll continue this on for next year.
Let me ask you that. I'm going to one more question. Matt Hall, how well has he done in your estimation as the Speaker to navigate this divided government?
I think he's done a really, really good job, a great job. He handles our caucus well. He handles the other side well. He doesn't back down, and I think that's wonderful. Like we said, we were never going to raise taxes, gas taxes at all. We were bound and determined to get the no taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security, which we did. He's a great speaker. We're really happy to have him leading our caucus, and good things are ahead.
Yeah, I think what strikes me about Matt Hall, he always has a good disposition. He doesn't ever seem cross, as my grandmother used to say. He seemed to have a good disposition. That's how he works with the other side so well, because he's accommodating, I guess, for lack of a better word. Kathy, thank you for being here.
Well, good to see you, Steve, always.
Always good to see you, my friend. I first met her, I think, in 1991. I'd have to go back and check.
Really?
Yeah, no, 1991.
How long did we anchor together? I was trying to remember the other day.
I don't know, 2 or 3 years. Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thank you.
Well, I miss seeing you every day.
Well, I'll try to make it to Lansing more. I'll do my best. Thanks, Kathy.
Sounds good. Yeah, I like it when you come on the floor to say hi. See you later, Steve.
All right, yeah. Kathy and I were on WILX TV 10, Lansing, Michigan. Worked together side by side for a couple of years. Tim Stout was there with us. Joe Kopacek was the weatherman. Oh, yeah, trip right down memory lane. I'll take a break and be back with Ivy. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are back to an Ivy Watch coming into full relief now. Ivy, good morning. Welcome to it.
Good morning, Steve.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. What's on your bag of tricks today? What do you got for us?
You know, I'd like to talk about my life goals for a moment.
All right.
I just read a story. 83-year-old woman on opening day of hunting season shoots an elk, helps cut it up with her son and pack it out. 83 years old.
Wow. What state was that?
Wyoming, of course.
Wow. So she packed it out.
Yep.
And she's got some good hiking legs at 83, that's for sure. I mean, packing out an elk for you and I, or a moose, is work at our age.
I think it's cool. You know,
it's
her
cool.
son was a little concerned about her, but she said he was just delighted because that's all she wanted to do was just shoot it, process it, have it for, meals and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was her desire.
And I'd love to have an elk in the freezer, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes. Well, I've kept mentioning to you that I would be fine with just shooting a cow elk so that we could have it for our meals and things like that. But, yeah, it's an extraordinary animal, for sure.
They're fabulous, yeah.
And they're delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, let's go elk hunting.
Let's do it.
We're going to need a tag for that.
We'll have to figure that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Another life goal, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, Kabunga. He's an Egyptian wrestler.
And I don't keep up on Egyptian wrestling. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
He has a reputation on raw strength and relentless discipline. He does these things. He uses his teeth to pull trains, to pull ships.
Yikes!
At 44 years old, he pulled trains and cars, weighing over 1,100 tons, only using his teeth. Like what? What the heck?
Yeah.
What?
Pull your teeth out.
You would think, right?
Yeah, I'm like.
How crazy.
Okay.
You'll find anything on the internet.
Oh, yes, I know he set some Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, I think I've seen this guy do stuff like that before.
Yeah, he's a pretty incredible guy. But, you think about how capable our bodies are, and we don't give him credit, I think, of how incredible our bodies and minds are. It's like if you can think that you can do it, you certainly can.
The little train that could, right? I think I can.
Absolutely. Yeah. On the more troubling side, I don't know if you've seen this at all, but 52% of American schools and districts have begun rolling out a new program called equitable grading. Have you seen this?
Oh, good Lord.
Now, you've been talking about this for a while.
Equitable grading.
In terms of...
So that means you can just flunk and still get an A?
Well, here are some of the guidelines for this. Unlimited test retakes, no zeros for missing work, no homework. Homework is excluded from final grades. No late penalties. No required participation.
And we wonder...
What the heck are we sending kids to school for?
Well, nothing. And you wonder why they're not prepared to be in the workforce.
Exactly.
They can show up late.
No
there's no penalty. They get their paycheck.
There's no accountability at all.
That's the dumbest stuff you ever heard.
And I'm...
Uh-oh. She almost had a foul word come out. I felt it.
Well... we're already experiencing this. So our kids had gone to private school, and then first year being in a public school, and I'm already experiencing this where the grading's excluded. I'm like, what the heck is all this work excluded
I haven't even seen
for?
That. Well, I ask him every day. I said, "Yeah, homework? No.
Yeah,
homework?
same thing.
No. What do you mean no homework?
Right.
High school? Do you have no homework? We had homework every day.
Yeah, and I don't know if that will actually be true once high school starts, but. I'm really concerned about it already.
You should
but 52% of schools, districts using at least one of these equitable grading policies.
Oh, good Lord.
34% using 2 to 3 of them. 6% using 4 plus. And middle schools are in about 55% in majority minority middle schools. In urban district-wide settings, 55% are using this equitable grading system.
Well, and in New York, they're getting rid of the gifted program in New York.
That's so terrible.
Why would you get rid of the gifted program? You want the smartest people to get the biggest challenges to create the best outcomes. I mean, that's why you do it, right?
Well, it's no wonder that our students are falling behind in the world in terms of math and reading, and it's terrible. And I don't really need to focus on fixing it. I know that, the president's looking into this, but I'm not sure what gains have been made. But to me, this is just as important as, RFK Jr.'s focus in terms of making America healthy again. We really need to focus on making America
Smart again?
Smart again,
Yeah.
and really educating our kids. Because there are a lot of people who just simply do not have the option to homeschool their kids.
They don't.
And so we need to have a place for kids that can actually learn. And I'm just
And excel.
I really worry about this for our kids.
Well, back to what I was saying about no homework. There's no challenge for him.
There's no challenge.
And I'm guessing that's true for a lot of kids. They're sitting there, they're just going through the motions.
Right.
Getting A's because grading it's too excluded. It means like, oh, you really didn't do very well, but we're going to give you an A anyway. Good job, Johnny.
No, it's like a participation ribbon. It's like the new version of that.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a chance to bring up their grades, and that's really no accountability, and it's frightening. Yeah.
None. It's terrible. I find it ridiculous. And you and I have looked. We'd love to have a Hillsdale Academy.
Oh my goodness.
If we had one available, we would put our kid there instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not available where we are.
Yeah.
So
unfortunate.
Well, luckily we teach them at home best we can about responsibility, chores, doing the work, earning your way. Earn is an important word. It might be the most important word. Earn what you have.
Absolutely.
Don't just get it handed. Earn the grade, earn the paycheck, earn the promotion, earn the raise, earn it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're doing so well there. Now I'm just irritated. Anyhow.
Now I'm stressed out though because you think about what is the best path forward for our kids, for kids
Other
in
kids.
this country, and you wonder like,
What are we doing? Yeah, it's a fair question. What are we doing? Ivy, as always, love you. Thank you.
Love you too, Steve. Thank you.
All right. It's remarkable, isn't it? Just give them a participation ribbon. Here's your A. Here's your A. Everybody gets an A. Stop it. Everybody doesn't get an A. What if Johnny is just stupid? Just asking for some friends. All right, I'll be back in a moment. it just seems sometimes like the world has gone mad in a way. No grades for the kids. I'm going to be stuck on that for a bit. I'm going to dig in. Why is there no homework? Why did all these get... She just showed me. She came over to this thing, what's it called? Power School. You guys probably have that. Power School. You look at their grades all the time. I'm glad my mother didn't have Power School to see what I was doing in class. That's a different story, all right? But I'm glad we have it so we can see what's going on. More importantly, not for the kid, for the teachers. Why are you excluding all this, studying and homework? Oh, excluded. Why don't you just give everybody an A and call it good? Give everybody an A and a diploma when they're 15. Skip high school. What's the point? What's the point if you're doing that, right? It's just maddening to me. Anyhow, it's just crazy stuff. I don't understand that at all. There was this is on the internet. You can go find this during an effort to rehab an old school years ago. They found an 8th grade test from about 100 years ago, when they were digging through and remodeling that school. The 8th grade test was harder than what most high school kids could graduate with today. This was an 8th grade in this country. We used to teach people things. Remember, the United States of America won World War II, and the average education of the people fighting World War II had an 8th grade education. That was the average, an 8th grade education. They were better educated in 8th grade 100 years ago than they are by the time they walk out of high school today. That, my friends, is a fact, a verifiable fact. We're doing our kids, the word that Ivy just used, we're doing our kids a disservice by not teaching them about this country, about math, about science, about English, about anything. A disservice. We've got to do better. Stop it. If Johnny gets a C, it's because Johnny earned a C, all right? Or a D or an E, whatever. Fight the good fight, keep the faith. God bless America, my friends. Remember, fight the good fight, keep the faith. Only you can save America, and we can do it together. Work hard. Be better. Work hard. Be better. Earn it. Earn is the word of the day. Talk to you tomorrow.